All right. So, like you said, going back to the basics. So I see some clips of you been on the news recently.
You did?
Yeah, and I'm noticing I got a call, I got a text the other day. Somebody was like, "Man, how come now every time I look up on social media, I see Rel, I see you?" It was like,
Dang.
"Man, look like y'all got some stuff stirring in the pot over there,
You know,
like what it is." So,
before
what?
you even say that, I think what happened was we started to like really look at business as a partnership, even though we wasn't in partnership. And
Yeah,
once we started doing those trips, I told you about Invest Fest. We got to see Troy and them actually in action.
yeah,
And it kind of gave us like a
different
it kind of it
perspectives.
definitely gave you a light bulb moment, but it was just like, why can't we have more of this
Yes,
in every area?
yeah.
And how can we perfect, not even perfect, but how can we actually do business in a way where it benefits us all as opposed to just one person? You get what I'm
That
saying?
was big, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I think that's the biggest gem you've gave me because, like, I never knew nothing about InvestFest until you brought it to my attention,
Yeah.
and that was such an eye-opening experience, man. And I was like, the whole time I was there, like, I was just ready to get back home, and I was
Oh
like, we
man,
gotta work,
immediately.
we gotta do it, we gotta work. And the whole time I'm there, you know me, my entrepreneur spirit, I'm like, bro, we could do something like this in Arizona.
Yeah.
Like we could do this, we could do that.
Yeah.
And to see two brothers sitting there doing that, man,
Yeah.
and create that kind of stuff, I'm like, bro,
It's mind blowing.
that's what gave me the more motivation to kind of step out my comfort zone when I said I wasn't gonna work with nobody
Yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That kind of gave me that extra confirmation that okay, I'm ready to do it. On top of, I ain't gonna lie, when we started taking these trips or whatever the case may be, you was like, Rube, I got it. I
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
Buying your own flights, doing this,
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And like I said, I'm like, okay, bro, like he really talk what he's about.
Yeah, because it was one time, well, you booked the trip for me to come to New Orleans, and I totally forgot that I had a wedding. And I was just like, dang, that's on me. And
Right,
so what I did was I flew another person out there to take my space, and then I flew myself out there too because it was no way to change the flight in the first
right,
place. And it was just like, because at that point, at least the way I see it in business, when you make a mistake, that's on you. It
right.
ain't got nothing to do with like on some like, hey, all right, well,
Yeah,
can you tell the company to pay? Like, no,
yeah,
that's on you. So
yeah.
being a business owner in general, that's something that we gotta tuck. We gotta, you know what I mean?
And that's what changed a lot. Cause at first, like when you told me, man, I was heated. I was like, man,
I already know. That's why. That's why.
I was like, this mother. I was like, I was heated. I was like, dude, we planned this way
To the
back
T.
then,
To the T.
and then all of a sudden you come and like, oh, bro, I booked the wedding. I'm like, what? I'm like, bro, I already booked the Airbnb, I booked the flights and
Everything.
everything. And then
Everything.
you kept saying like, bro, like I'm gonna find somebody. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
Yeah, I was
find it.
like, I got it. I got
And
it.
then after that, I was like, okay, okay. So then when you finally hit me up and was like, oh, bro, I brought him a ticket. I brought
Yeah.
myself a ticket.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I was
so
like,
I had to pick up my phone. Like, let me look at my credit card. Did I leave my credit card around there? And then I noticed I was like, nah, bro, like he booked it and he was like, oh man, I'm gonna take care of the extra shoot and everything. And I'm just
yeah.
like, okay, bro, like really moved different. Like
Yeah.
he really moved different. So
Yeah.
just like I said, and just for people to know, like he said, I'm more from I'm a visual person. You gotta prove it to me. So
Yeah.
you could talk all that talk all
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
But as we continue to grow and just you kept just showing by action, showing by
Yeah.
action, showing by action, so I was like, it was a no brainer. And then I was like, man, I'm starting to notice now how major marketing is marketing branding when it comes to your business.
People
So
don't.
if
People don't.
anybody don't know this,
People don't understand.
if for anybody, if I can give you any kind of advice, I'll tell y'all this. Starting as of last year, I make sure that my biggest budgeting expense is marketing.
I looked this up for a client. A client came into my office the other day, and I looked this. I'll show you this just so that you know how serious it is. And this was a different perspective because I had a girl come into my office after a photo shoot, and she was like, "Yeah, I see. I see what y'all doing, and I really would love to be in the field of being an influencer and blah 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 this and that." And I was like, "That's cool that you're doing photo shoots and everything, but how are you marketing it?" And she was just like, "I don't really think that we need to do XYZ. We just need to focus on being in front of the camera." And I was just like, "Bro, you can have a project, but I mean a product, but if you don't market it, it's nothing." And I was like, "Let me show you how much money America spends on marketing." Now, I already know the number. The number is $674 billion a year that America spend on marketing. That right there can free recession. That can free, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
So the fact that it's that powerful, you got to think about it. You walk past a billboard, you walk past I mean, if you watching a YouTube video, marketing comes up. If you freaking pull out your cell phone, before an ad gonna pop up. Even if you strolling through Instagram, it's gonna pop up. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Like marketing is the backbone of this world. Like not even America.
And I think too, what people forget too is everybody think, oh, Mark, oh, that's all they do. That's all they do. Man, listen, to be successful in business, you have to learn how to be great
Mm-hmm.
at what you're great at
That's it.
and find other people to do the rest.
Yep.
And the biggest problem is, oh man, I could do that. Oh man, I could take pictures. Oh,
Trying
I
to
could
save
take
money.
video.
Trying to
At
save.
the end of the day, man, dude, find the people that's their hobby.
That's
That's
their
what they
lane.
love to
That's
do.
their
That's
lane.
their lane.
Yes.
And that's why I used to lose a lot of too, man. I'm a jack of all trades. I could do this, I could do that, I could do that. And then now when I start realizing like, okay, I need a PR person, I
Yep.
need a marketing
Yep.
person, I need a
Yep.
visual person.
Yep.
Now, not only does that help take stuff off my plate, it brings my mental, it softens my mental,
Yeah.
it frees up more time. And
Bro.
then now I'm able to creatively think more
Yeah.
from that top level of the entrepreneur where I
Cause
need
you
to
took
go
some hats off.
instead of trying to sit here and focus on marketing and video,
Yeah.
right? So I just think it's very, very for anybody that wants to know when you're getting into business, I will say focus on your marketing, 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 marketing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, a business is services, goods and services, right?
Mm-hmm.
How you going to become a successful entrepreneur is wanting people to get your goods and services.
And the only
How
way
are people going to know about your goods and services
without
without
marketing.
marketing?
That's it.
So I'm not telling anybody anything that I haven't experienced myself.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's the end all be all because
Nope.
there's always an exception to the rule. So you're going to have some people like, oh, well, I didn't do marketing and I became sever and I, yes, okay. I'm talking about for the masses,
Yeah. Cause you
right?
gotta think about it. If you're a music artist, you go to the studio, you spend all of the time making a project. It's equivalent to us doing a bunch of photos, doing a bunch of videos. Next is you got to get it to the people. Because without getting to the people, you can't sell
Yeah.
this. You can't sell the album.
What you think? Doing a tour, putting them in on that. That's all
That's all marketing.
marketing.
It's
That's all
all
marketing.
marketing.
They don't understand. So I'll just say, man, focus on the marketing. So going into it. So we was working together. We did Invest Fest. We
Yep.
did
Yep.
all
Yep.
that. And you want me to start it?
Go for it.
So basically, what I was doing was, like I said, I also got a healthcare company, and I was like, man, I was like, I got the apparel company as well, and I was like, man, we keep going rent out these mansions and these things or whatever,
Studios. Mm-hmm.
and I was like, man, as we continue to grow, like we're gonna need a place to create content for marketing.
Yep. Yep.
So I was like, man, I was like, so right behind my other space for
Mm-hmm.
my company, they had a guy that a space that came open, and I was like, man. So it's funny. So I was like, man, I said, I want to get this space for marketing and stuff. So then
Yeah.
I thought about it and I was like, okay, well, hold up. I'm talking about getting another space for marketing.
Yeah.
I'm about to get a space and I ain't gonna know what the crap to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't got
Yeah.
a camera. I
Yeah.
don't got a
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember. I think you was heading
I
to
was heading
to
to
New
New
Orleans.
Orleans. Yeah.
And then I hit my landlord up and I was like, hey, look, man, can I get into the space?
Yeah.
So when I was doing it, I wound up FaceTiming
You
you.
just trying to FaceTime me. I
I
remember
was like,
that.
bro, look, man, bro, I'm looking at the space. I
Yeah.
was like, bro, I was like, dude, I was like, if I get this, I said, man, I think I can redo it. Like, do you think this would be a cool spot for content and sort of
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that? And he was like, man, I don't know, like I see it, and it was kind of Like
Yeah,
you were
because
super hesitant about it.
that's the tortoise in the hair. Like I move a little slower. So it's just like, bro, don't present no ideas right away. Like let me sit on it for a second. And you was like, can you come over there? And I was like, I'll try to come over there, but I knew I had to be at the airport like in a little bit. And so I didn't get a chance to come over. And like I want to say I went out of town that weekend. And when I came back, he was like, "Yo, I still want you to see it." And so I was like, "Bet." Well, then I'll come over there and see it. And
Right.
so I came over and I saw it. And then, you know, me visually, I'm like, oh, this would be dope if they raise the ceilings over here, if we do this, that, and that. And he was like, yeah. And then I was just like, yeah, if we do this to the floor, this and that and that. And he was like, yeah, okay. And then all of a sudden he was like, yeah, like we this our building now. And I was just like, what? Like, wait a minute, what you mean? Like we was just talking about this, but
Right.
now like what how did the deal go down? Like what you know, and you was just like that's when you know, it was just like I'm thinking, you know, if I can do the apparel on this side and you can do photography on this side, since you already do all the photography stuff in-house, we can just have this as in-house for the content for the company. And I was like, bet that actually will work. But
Right.
I was just like, okay, like we talking about it, but I ain't know if it, you know, we just
Right.
talking about it,
Right.
spitballing. And so right after that, that's
You
when we,
left and you went out of town
yeah, that's what I'm
again.
saying. I left and I went out of town again for another gig. When I came back, all of the little ideas that I had just spitball end up spitting to life. And I was just like, bro, like, wait, like we got, all right, like that's what's up. Like, all right, bet. And so that's when for me, it was just like, all right, okay. I now officially understand what it is to like have a partner, but at the same time, you know, just because you're you know, it's the tortoise in the hare, sometimes you do gotta move fast on it because
Right.
it'll make sense to the slow person later. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
In a sense. And I think in that moment, that's when I was like, all right, bet. All right, I'm gonna let you do you, and I'll come in on the back end and do me where I see fit to
And
you know what I'm
then
saying?
and that's how it happened. So we're actually in the space and we're gonna
Yep.
talk about it. We're
Yep.
actually in the space right now. And where it works too is like I said, I'm not a real good interior designer. I'm not a real good like all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Me, I'm
yeah.
like, okay, hey, we want the spot. All right, where we go? Let me sign. Hey, here go the money, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
So when you came, I was like, well, bro, like, now what?
Yeah. And it was just
So
like,
I
all
had
right,
the space. I'm like, all right, what Rel?
all right, so now let's get to
Like
work.
Rel, like what now? Like I don't know what to do
Yeah,
now. I
yeah,
got the
yeah.
space.
Yeah.
So you was like, well, man, I think we should do this. We think we should do that, and this,
Yeah.
that, and that. And I was like, all right, bet. So we
Yeah.
started doing it.
Yep.
So then we sit there and looked and was like, okay, well, what is this space?
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, wait, hold up, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then after that, I was like, okay, all the ideas we had, I felt like it wasn't. I was like, bro, we got too many ideas for this little space.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, I think you went somewhere else, took a couple days.
Yeah.
I went back to my landlord and I was like, hey, listen, man, do you got any other spaces in here?
Yeah.
So he told me, he was like, man, the ones right next door to you, their lease is gonna be up in like 6 months or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, man, I need that space.
Yeah.
He's like, man, he was like, if you go offer them, they may, you want to pay half of it, they may get you out.
Yeah.
So I went and talked to him. I was like, look, man, I need to get you up out of this lease. So I went and talked to him. I cashed him out. They got out the lease.
Yeah.
He came back. I was like, look, man, I need you to knock this wall down, expand it.
Yeah.
So now we went from the space being what, 2,200 square feet
Yeah. To
to
like
now
four or something. Yeah.
4,400 square
Oh
feet.
yeah, 44. Yeah. Yeah.
4,400 square feet.
Yeah.
So we saying all this, we skipping a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So explain to the people, what is this space?
Okay. So originally now I mean, it's official now. So the name is actually Timeless 24 Studios. I can look at the camera and say that Timeless 24 Studios all around. And that's a collaboration or connection of both our businesses.
Right,
Mine's is always Timeless, and you got Team 24. You know what I mean? So
right,
naturally, we took 24, we took Timeless because always. I mean, they talk about always 24, but it's
right,
just like Timeless 24 just made more sense because I my portion of it is um in my business I like to bring things that are timeless, like whether it's memories, all of that type of stuff.
mm,
And 24, I mean, it's 24 around the clock. I mean, ideally that's the way I view it.
right,
Because we naturally, I mean, we sleep, but we don't really sleep. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? I feel like 24 hours around the clock ain't even enough time. But anyway, long story short, Thomas 24 Studio is the space where we house we gonna rent it out to people where they can do podcasts, they can rent out the space for photography, videography. But essentially it will be our content hub, a place where we create content for our own businesses and then allow other people to come in to create content for their businesses. And then on the opposite side, as you stated before, we do have Team 24 community and we have 24 apparel. So it's almost broken up into two sides of like the creative side, which is my side, and then the more business structure side, which is your side. But all of it is one house. You know what I mean? And within there, you'll be able to purchase anything from off of 24. Because we do have the website live, we still have everything that we need to start pushing and crushing that.
Right.
But on the flip side of things, it's the distribution center. It's where you house everything, where you do all of the back end work, and then Team 24 Community. I mean, that speaks for itself. That's a nonprofit, and that space will actually be a space where they can rent out for events, meetings. They can congregate there. Y'all can have y'all own little setup. We got a nice big old 86-inch TV that you can tether your meetings off of. Everything. It's a really nice space. So overall, you can rent out almost like the whole building, except for our offices. But
Right.
naturally, man, that's what it's for. It's for the community to come in here and everybody who wants to kind of create have a space to create. We're gonna provide gear if that's what you need to be able to come into the space. The podcast room, as y'all can see, we sitting in this. This space is for y'all. I mean, we're gonna do our thing no matter what, but this space is essentially for for the people to be able to have some top notch quality gear and just a space that they can kind of like just chill and just create. So that's kind of what I see it for. Essentially, it's just for creating and then having a space to get inspired. This space should be inspiring.
No, definitely, definitely. And I lean on you a lot as well
Yeah.
from being the expert in that. Like I said, it's mainly I feel like the inspiration comes from you. So for a lot of people, the transition of us designing it, developing it,
Yeah.
like how do you think we was able to work? I don't think it's nothing where we really bumped heads about like what colors you're gonna use, what
Yeah. Yeah.
furniture to
Yeah.
use, what's the name gonna be, what's the logo, what's
Yeah.
the colors. Like how was the transition? How do you feel the transition for both of us was when it came down to it?
I don't really feel like it was tough. I think, like I said, I think you leaned on me for a little bit more on the creative side of decoring it and structuring the rooms for whatever the essential need it was for. And then for business side, that's why I lean on you for that side, to be able to, like kind of make sure things is like up to par and up to standard. And I feel like that's where we both can do essentially both of our jobs, but the partnership is to allow one person to do their part. You get what
Right.
I'm saying? And where we see fit, I think that's where we grow.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is like certain things that you do in business, I'll start incorporating. And certain things I do on my creative side, you start incorporate. Because I know a lot of the stuff you wasn't even familiar. I mean, once you start seeing me bring all of the gear in and all of this stuff, you was just like, bro, I have no idea what this is.
Right.
But now it's different. Now you got a certain standard when you see photos and when you see videos.
Right.
And yesterday we was doing a shoot up in there. You over there directing, you know what I mean? So
Right.
it's I think that naturally we supposed to grow on each other in that way to where it's equal understanding and great opportunity. So that way, naturally, I think we are leaders in our own rights to give it back to our own community.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think it was the big part that you said too that works a lot of it is two people knowing their lane,
That's it.
right? So, like I said, for me, and you kept saying it in what you were saying, the big thing of it is I know what my strong suit is.
That's it.
My strong suit is the behind the scenes, the business stuff of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you let me, like you was like, well, Rube, look, I told you, look, hey, you talk to the landlord, you get this right, you get this done.
Yeah.
Hey, what all the equipment and stuff we need? What stuff that we can make to do this?
Yeah.
Now, listen, man, I'm not a decor person. I'm
Yeah.
not a structure person.
Yeah.
You the one know what people want,
Yeah.
right? You the one that's gonna make the memories in here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you come in here, 9 times out of 10, you gonna deal with you more than anything,
Yeah. Facts.
right?
Facts.
So I just think, like you said, we got two people that knew their lane,
Yeah.
and we don't question it. And it's like, hey, a lot of time when you come, I'll be like, I don't know, real, but I'm gonna trust you.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm gonna
Then when
trust
they
you
come
because
together,
it's not because I may not see it,
yeah,
and that's a lot of times where people bump heads with me is that a lot of time the vision that I have, I can't always explain it.
you got to try it out, and
But
that's
just a lot of people are just like, man, just shut up and come along for the ride.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
this, and I know everybody not like that,
yeah,
right? But I feel like my portfolio on stuff I've been doing and where I've been going speaks volumes for like giving people more motivation to do that.
yeah. So
So when does the studio open?
the official launch of the studio is January 6th. We actually open right now. We've been bringing in clients and things like that. Had a
Yeah,
couple, good people come through the studio already. And so far, the reviews of like what people like has been pretty good. You know what I mean? So the studio officially opens January 6th for
okay.
public. We still working on some things on the back end and make sure everything is structured right. And then I want to say from there, man, it's all about marketing at that point.
Yes,
So
sir. So do we have a website? Do we have social media?
yeah, so timeless24studios.com is the website. And Timeless 24 Studio is the Instagram as of right now. I'm pretty sure we'll kind of keep that same name going over to all the
Yeah.
other social media portfolios. But I think right now the biggest two is the website and Instagram at this point. And then from there, we do still have our businesses, which we kind of get the word out through those lanes too.
Yeah. And man, I just tell everybody, man, like we said, everything we do, man, everything we do, myself and what he does, is always for the community
That's
in
it.
some way, shape, or form.
That's it.
But I just need everybody to understand too that we do have families.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, like I said, it's no homie hookups. It's nothing like
Nah.
that. We still have to be able to run the space. We have to
Listen,
pay
we
for the
got
equipment.
bills.
We have to do things.
Yeah.
But we want this to be a safe space where you can come in, where, like I said, if you want to shoot you a little mini movie, if you want to shoot you a music video,
Yeah.
if you just want to come in a podcast room and be heard,
Yeah.
like we're people that you can touch,
Yep.
that like you can pick us up, you can text us, you can call us,
Yeah.
that we have these resources available for you. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing, is us having resources available
Yeah.
for people. So if you up and coming, or
Yeah.
even if you just want to come here and sit down and talk with us about, hey man, I got this idea. What do you think about this? What do you
Yeah.
think about
Yeah.
that? Even when we in this space working, we're still available to do that.
Yeah.
So I just want everybody to know that and understand
Yeah.
that at the end of the day, this is for the community. This is for
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, definitely reach out to Rel. You
Mm-hmm.
can reach out to him on Instagram. You can reach out to Facebook. If you try to reach out to me, I'm gonna send you to him. So I'll let you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I'm not on social media, so if anybody try to look for me,
Yeah.
I don't do social media. I don't have no personal pages on social media whatsoever. But if you need to get a hold of me, you can go through him, particularly for the spot. And if it's anything with 24 Community, 24 Apparel, we all have Instagrams.
Yep.
Those are not my personal Instagrams, so they are ran by professionals
Yeah.
and business people. So, like I said, if you need something, you can go through that and relay the message, but please do not put any private or personal stuff on there because multiple people run those accounts.
Yep.
Just a disclaimer.
You're gonna get a rude awakening.
Yes, you are. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. So I know we're about to wrap it up, man. So is this something that's gonna be continuous for us?
I think so. I think so. I think we definitely need to keep the people updated on certain things. And then, like I said, putting more voice behind the action always helps because it gives them direction.
And I just let everybody know, man, this is not you. When you come to this to look at our podcast or talk to us, whatever the case may be, I'm gonna let you guys know now. This is not the husbands of Hollywood. This is not the husbands of
We
Atlanta, or
ain't
whatever
finna
the case
gossip.
might
We
be.
finna get
We're
straight
not
to
about to
business.
gossip. We don't care about what's trending. We
No.
don't care about what's popular on social media.
No.
We strictly talk about business, what goes on in our community. We want to educate people as much as possible. We want to
Yeah.
give a platform for people to educate as much as possible.
Yeah.
So if you have a business, or anything like that, and you want to be heard, you could definitely reach out to us.
Yeah.
Myself or D will be more than
Yeah.
happy to sit down with you, talk about your business, and just go from there.
And the beautiful thing about that is we got two more seats over this side too. So
Yeah,
they could definitely come on the podcast, put another camera angle on them and get it cracking. So
yeah.
I think like I said, the studio overall is for the people and it would be updated so that way it makes it your job easier when you do come in here. So
So before we head out, if you got some young people out there that's going to school and they want to become a photographer, a videographer, an entrepreneur,
yeah.
what is give me one one form of advice that you can give to them that can make them be successful?
Don't be afraid to fail and don't ever stop learning. Like those are the two things that go hand in hand because when you fail, you learn. So I would always tell them, don't be afraid to fail and don't stop learning.
Y'all heard it from here first. Anything else for the people?
No, I think that's it, man. It's Times 24 Studios, baby. That's it.